This is video Hannah, the Habakkuk, Jeremiah, lesson 8, Habakkuk Bible verse Habakkuk. There are 1 to 4, but I gonna read 1 to 3. The Habakkuk is short. Yes, here. Yeah. Habakkuk looks like the New Testament's Romans. So let's go. Yeah, the Habakkuk, the burden which the prophet Habakkuk saw. O Lord, how long shall I cry, and you will not hear, even cry out to you, violence, and you will not save? Why do you show me iniquity and can cause me to see trouble? For the plundering and violence are before me. There is strife and contention arise. Therefore the law is powerless and justice never goes forth. For the wicked, yeah, I'm just changing the scene. Yes, yeah, it's good for, yeah. Why do you will not hear, even cry out to you, violence, and you will not save? Why do you show me iniquity and cause me to see trouble? For plundering and violence are before me. There is strife and contention arising. Therefore the law is powerless and justice never goes forth. For the wicked surrounded the righteous. Therefore perverse judgment proceeds. Look among the nations and watch, be utterly astounded. For I will work in your days, which you would not believe, though it were told you. For indeed I am raising up the Chaldeans, bitter and hasty nation, which marches through the breadth of the earth, to possess dwelling places that are not theirs. Verse 7, they are terrible and dreadful, their judgment and their dignity of the earth, to possess dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful, their judgment and their dignity proceed from themselves. Their horses also are swifter than leopards and more fierce than evening wolves. Their chargers charge ahead. Their cavalry comes from afar. They fly as the eagle that hasten to eat. They all come for violence. Their faces are set like the east wind. They gather captives like sand. They scoff at kings, and princes are scorned by them. They deride every stronghold, for they heap up mounds of earth and seize it. Then his mind changes and he transgresses. He commits offense in putting this power to his God. Are you not from everlasting, O Lord, my God, my Holy One? We shall not die, O Lord. You have appointed them for judgment, O rock. You have marked them for correction. 13. You are of purer eyes than to behold evil, and cannot look on wickedness. Why do you look on those who deal treacherously, and hold your tongue when the wicked devours one more righteous than he? Why do you make men like fish of the sea, like creeping things that have no ruler over them. They take up all of them which hook. They catch them in their net and gather them in their drag net. Therefore they rejoice and are glad. Therefore they sacrifice to their net and burn incense to their dragnet, because by them their share is sumptuous, and their food plenteous. Shall they therefore empty their net and continue to slay nations without pity? Chapter 2. I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart, and watch to see what he will say to me, and what I will answer when I am reproved. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but yet at the end it will speak, and it will not die. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, the proud, his soul is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. 4. The 5, indeed, because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, and he does not stay at home, because he enlarged his desire as hell, and he is like death and cannot be satisfied. He gathers to himself all nations and heaps up for himself all peoples. Shall not all these take up a proverb against him, and taunting riddle against him, and say, woe to him who increases what is not his, how long? And to him who lowers himself with many pledges. Will not your creditors rise up suddenly? Will they not awaken who oppress you, and you will become their booty? Become their booty. 8. Because you have plundered many nations, all the remnant of the people shall plunder you, because of man's blood and the violence of the land and the city and of all who dwell in it. Woe to him who covets evil gain for his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of disaster. You gave shameful counsel to your house, cutting off many peoples, and sinned against your soul. For the stone will cry out from the wall, and the beam from the timbers will answer it. Woe to him who builds a town with bloodshed, who establishes a city by iniquity. 14. For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. Woe to him who gives drink to his neighbor, pressing him to your bottle, even to make him drunk, that you may look on his nakedness. You are filled with shame instead of glory. You also drink and be exposed as uncircumcised. The cup of the Lord Lord's right hand will be turned against you, and utter shame will be on your glory. For the violence done to Lebanon will cover you, and the plunder of beasts which made them afraid because of men's blood and violence of the land and the city and of all who dwell in it. What profit is the image that its maker should crave it? The molded image, a teacher of lies, that the maker of his mold should trust in it to make mute idols. 19. Woe to him who said to wood, awake to silent stone, arise, it shall teach. Behold, it is overlaid with gold and silver, and in it there is no breath at all. 20. But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Chapter 3. Time of a prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet on Signoinus. O Lord, I have heard your speech and was afraid. O Lord, revive your work in the midst of year. In the midst of the years, make it known. In rest, remember mercy. God came from Teman, number 3, verse 3, the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. His brightness was like the light. He had rays flashing from his hand, and there his power was hidden. Before him went pestilence, and favor followed at his feet. He stood and measured the earth. He looked and started the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills bowed. His ways are everlasting. I saw the tents of Cusan in affliction. The curtains of the land of Midian trembled. O Lord, were you displeased with the rivers? Was your anger against the rivers? Was your wrath against the sea, that you rode on your horses, your chariots of salvation? Your bow was made quiet, ready. Oaths were sworn over your arrows. Selah, you divide the earth with the rivers. The mountains say you, and trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered its voice and lifted its hands on high. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation at the light of your arrows. They went at the shining of your glittering spear. You marched through the land in indignation. You trampled the nations in anger. 13. You went forth for the salvation of your people, for salvation with your anointed. You struck the head from the house of the wicked by laying bare from foundation to neck. Selah. You thrust through with his own arrows the head of his villages. They came out like a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was like a feasting on the poor in secret. 15. You walked through the sea with your horses through the heap of the great waters. When I heard, my body trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he comes up to the people, he will invade them with his troops. Though the fig tree may not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, though the labor labor of the olive may fail, and the fierce years no food, though the flock be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stores. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. 18:19. The Lord God is my strength. He will make my feet like deer's feet, and he will make me